New at 11 o'clock, Myrtle Beach's City Council tabled a decision about these water-powered jetpacks tonight. The council was expected to vote on how to regulate the new ride. We first told you about these last night here at 11. The pack shoots people 30 feet into the air. Some question the safety. There's no word when Myrtle Beach will re-examine the issue. A husband and wife who survived last week's bridge collapse in Washington State are describing the moment the bridge crumbled beneath them. Dan and Sally Sly are back home, but they are still a little bruised. They were driving across the bridge in their pickup truck when the bridge collapsed. Can you imagine? Dan dislocated his shoulder. Sally was knocked unconscious.
And then when I look up, then that's where I realized that the bridge was collapsed. And then I saw this lady ask me, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Call 911. That's what I told her.
She's laughing now, but man, that had to have been scary. Another driver who was in his car when the bridge collapsed also survived. Sometimes you hear something that makes you remember how good people are in our community. I was listening to the radio this morning when a man called in. His voice and why he was calling made us go track him down for ourselves. Meet Ed Pappert, all new at 11 o'clock.
We came back to the States when the war ended, and I got out right away and went to college.
Ed Pappert is 92. He served in World War II on the USS Essex from 1942 until 1945. This morning, Ed heard about a crime against another local World War II vet.
I was listening to the radio, and it sounded like a terrible thing had happened to a guy.
Ed heard the story on WBT radio. A 92-year-old Rock Hill man, a man named J.C. Green, had his golf cart stolen. He used it to drive around, tend his garden, check his mail. Host Keith Larson was talking about the theft. It made Ed pick up the phone.
I am also a World War II veteran. I'm also 92 years old, and I'd like to send in $100 to the golf cart.
And like a snowball that kept rolling, more and more people kept calling, just like Ed, to chip in.
Now, somebody else called in and said they were going to give $100. I thought, you know what? If enough people called in, he'll get he can get a new. So I called in.
In 3 short hours, callers donated thousands, just like that. Just because. Which is why you now see this. 3 hours after the radio show wrapped, Mr. J.C. Green was sitting on a front porch in Rock Hill next to Keith Larson when a golf cart from a Charlotte company, Paradise Golf Cars, arrived at his doorstep. It's a loaner. It's his until they customize a brand new one.
To know that people are that appreciative of everything.
He doesn't have a lot to say, but the fact he goes for a ride almost immediately says something. So does the smile it gives to all those who helped replace these 4 wheels of freedom.
I imagine he'll end up with a better golf cart than he had.
When we talked with Ed, the man there smiling, the man who gave $100 to help, he said it had been a tough week. His wife of 68 years died Friday. Since then, he said this one thing, this giving to help a fellow vet, has made him feel pretty good. Thank you, Ed. I think I speak for everyone when we say thank you and Mr. Green for your service. Now to this, well, I don't know how to say it other than wild video. It is getting a lot of attention tonight. A tornado caught on camera. You can hear it there. Storm chasers in a special vehicle recorded this violent twister as it tore across Kansas and crossed right over them Monday afternoon. And all new at 11 o'clock, we can show you the modified SUV from the outside. It's called the Tornado Intercept Vehicle, and it looks like a tank.
Stealth bomber.
Yes, stealth bomber. It's covered with thick armor, bulletproof windows, and special anchors that lock it to the ground. Eric Thomas is here right now, our chief meteorologist. And Eric, I want to play some more of this video. And I want you, because we've been doing this sort of when we're off air tonight, to analyze it and tell everybody what we're seeing, because you understand it. I just think it looks kind of wild. You understand this video.
Well, yeah, I think they drive those anchors into the ground the way they anchor a pier down, why those piers can withstand hurricanes in so many cases. But as far as the video itself goes, it is mass chaos, Molly. Look at this. This is not your F1, F2 little rope tornado. This is easily an F3, could be even an F4 and F5. Now notice how the wheatgrass is getting ripped right out of the ground there. And you'll also see how the winds continue to shift directions. The video started off. If you replay this from basically over your shoulder, now they're going from left to right. There's a spark from probably a stone. Look at this, Molly. Boom! Look at that burn mark right there on the windshield. These winds easily 150, 200 miles an hour in this area. And of course, if you were ever caught in a wind like that, I mean, nothing would stand a chance. It is amazing these guys actually rode through this. I would much rather ride through a hurricane than try what they just tried there.
And if you look at it, as quickly as that storm moves in, it moves out.
Absolutely. I mean, these things are small scale, you know. I mean, even at their largest, they're only about a mile. And so you're only in that thing for maybe 60 seconds.
And the tank is anchored into the ground. I didn't know that.
It's crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah,
Let's talk about our forecast, because it's been beautiful here.
Yeah, we've had the fires out west. We've had the severe weather in the middle of the country, and somehow, some way, we've been avoiding it all. We've had a very quiet severe weather season around here, and knock on wood, I'd love to keep it that way. Scott Clark's Toyota City WeatherNet. As said, the nice weather continues. There's that sunset, 73 degrees, so room temperature outside even at this hour. And you'll see that we're talking about low to mid-70s across the Piedmont, all the way into the foothills. We get you down into the 60s. And then level off from there. We're in the low 60s from, say, Morganton, Lenore, all the way into the high country. So for our part, 66 in the morning, mild and pleasant conditions. Now, going forward, we might warm up a little bit more, but we're not forecasting any heat waves by any stretch of the imagination. There's today's high of 84 after the low of 63 degrees. We'll stay a little bit above that average high of 82, really for 6 of the next 7 days. And the only reason why this is coming down a little bit on Monday is that is in response to that front that's out in the middle of the country, creating a lot of really tough weather. And along with that, that's where we're concerned about maybe some storms getting in here, and that, of course, would reduce the heat. So first things first, there's the satellite picture this evening, quiet weather, but let's talk about this. We've seen severe weather all the way from New York, westbound, tornadoes on the ground. In fact, I have a report now, Goodrich, Michigan, people are trapped in a high school from a tornado up there with damage. And that is a suburb of Flint, Michigan, very close to Detroit as well. Then we have numerous tornadoes westbound. Now, not so much around Illinois and Missouri, but they were really getting a lot of reports around Kansas in this area, and reports all the way down even into Texas. But you'll still see that that line is alive and well right now over the Central Plains, and more tough weather in the high plains coming out of the Rockies. Now, tomorrow, things really don't change much. Look at where the highest risk of severe weather is, once again, across the plains and working its way into the northeast. Is any of this going to come our way? Well, that is all associated with the frontal boundary, and eventually, yes, that front is going to get into the Carolinas, but no time soon. There's your Wednesday morning at about 7 o'clock. Not bad. Noontime, same idea. Maybe a few areas you see a few dots of activity, but that's really about it, which is almost a carbon copy of what we witnessed today. So beyond that, let's look at the extended futurecast. You kind of want to watch this area right out here. It's going to kind of collect a little bit, and that's going to work its way into the Ohio Valley. Notice the time frame, though. We're at Friday, so it's still a ways out there. Now, we've been so focused on the severe weather over the middle of the country. I'm going to talk about some hurricane activity coming up here in just a minute, so stay with me. Mid-80s for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Over the weekend we go. When's that front get here? Either late Sunday or into Monday, so be aware of that, especially if you're going to be doing anything outdoors on Monday. So Saturday, the first day of hurricane season. But Molly, look at this. Last year, by late May, we already had 2 tropical storms, Alberto and Beryl. There you see Beryl way out to sea, but it wasn't out to sea the whole time. It actually formed off Jacksonville, made landfall on Jacksonville, the strongest tropical storm ever to occur and make landfall out of season, and then it rolled up the East Coast. We had a couple of deaths in the Carolinas, but there it is, 65 mile per hour. Things aren't off to that fast of a start, obviously, this year.
But still, we're entering that season again.
And we have a forecast for an active season.
Oh, okay, Aaron, thank you. Leah's up next with sports. Stick around.